Hey everybody, welcome to Transition Tuesdays, part 2 for today for August 28th, 2018. Again, I am still your host, Russ Williams here. The last time we left and we chatted, I was having technical difficulties pulling up my guests due to modern technology. Things happen. I'm not able to bring on that guest today. We're going to have that person on a future broadcast. You'll be so proud. You'll be so happy when we pull this guest in to Transition Tuesdays. It's going to be a great guest. We're going to have him on for a future show. Again, things happen, you know. Some transitions are beyond your control. I'll just say that'll be the title of this Transition Tuesday. Some transitions are beyond your control. Sometimes you have difficulties, you know, when you're transitioning from place to place and doing things like that. So these things happen. I apologize for that. But life goes on. Transition Tuesday continues to roll on. You know, that's what I'm here for. And, the last time we talked about a couple items as Brenda's back. Hey, Brenda. Hey. Thank you, Brenda, for coming back. Leah, thank you for joining us as well, too, the second time. I really appreciate that, too. So if you just joined us, was experiencing technical difficulties the first time, wasn't able to bring up our guest. I'm going to have my guest on for a future broadcast. We're going to do that. But I can recap what we talked about the last time I was here, okay? Last time we talked about the funeral visitation of Aretha Franklin in the D. As Faye is watching us too. What's up, Faye? In the D, that's going on right now as we speak. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, what she meant in a lot of people's lives. You know, they're doing that little funeral visitation today and tomorrow in Detroit. It's the in the African American Museum. Let me get the name of that again. I just want to make sure I got that correctly. It's the Charles H. Wright Museum for African American Studies. This is where her body is going to lay for 2 days in repose at the museum today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's important. Go check that out. So if you're in the D, what up, though? Right? As they say in the D, what up, though? So if you're in the D, go check that out. Give your respects. Pay your respects to the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin. And like I was asking before, what's up, Faye? Hey. And I was asking before, so Faye, now I got you on the phone. I got you on the line here. Not to put any pressure on you being from Detroit. Do you have a favorite Aretha Franklin song that you can share with us? A lot of people did. I know Brenda did. She shared, her choices. Do you have a favorite song? And out there, guys, do you have a favorite Aretha Franklin song? Again, mine was I Say a Little Prayer for You. That's one of mine's Aretha Franklin songs that I really enjoyed. So what's yours? So, we talked about Aretha Franklin. We talked about tomorrow's going to be would have been the 60th birthday of the Queen of Pop, Mr. Michael Jackson. He'd have been 60 years old. And, we talked about some Michael Jackson moments, from like the Beat It videos, the Thriller videos. Again, for me, him jumping on the roof of a car and dancing at his court trial, that was a moment for me. I remember that. Another moment I remember about Michael Jackson, and more the Jackson 5, when they used to have the Jackson 5 cartoon. I used to remember that, waking up and watching that on TV. That was a big thrill for me to see somebody of that stature, doing that on a cartoon stage. As Kenneth is rejoining us, thank you, Kenneth, for rejoining us again. I appreciate that, Kenneth. I appreciate you, my man, very much so. Absolutely. So, Michael Jackson would have been 60 years old tomorrow. So I recommend, we, put your music on, put the Michael Jackson videos on, put his music on. I like to listen to Sirius XM Radio. They do nice tributes, and I know they just did one for Aretha Franklin, and I'm sure they're going to do a nice tribute for Mr. Michael Jackson. So shout out to Sirius XM. I love that, I love being a part of those guys, and I love that. Plug. Come on, Sirius, man. Reach out to me on that, all right? Just gave you guys a plug, an endorsement there, okay? Reach out to me. Holla at me at Transition Tuesday. So, Michael Jackson would have been 60 years old. So, share with us, guys, if you can. Share with us your moments. Like, what's some of Michael Jackson moments that you remember? I remember Brenda talked about him doing the moonwalk and like the 50th Motown anniversary special. I think either 25, I believe it's 25 or 50. But we remember him doing that famous moonwalk. I remember that like that was yesterday. As Vincent is joining us. What's up, Vincent? Hey, Vincent, I got to have you on the show, man. Here's a guy, ladies and gentlemen, Vincent. He's a great actor. Want to hear about his story. So, Vincent, I'm going to reach out to you, man. I want to have you on a future show as well. So thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. So Michael Jackson, and Vincent, you just joined us. We just talked about how Michael Jackson's going to turn 60 years old. Do you have any fond memories of Michael Jackson? Do you have a Michael Jackson moment you like to share? Now, this is on cue. I mean, this is off the cuff. You being an actor, I know you can come through with it. So, let's see if you can do that. Give me your favorite moment, Michael Jackson moment that you had, that what he meant for you, a moment for you in this case. As Chris is rejoining us, what's up, Smooth? Uncle Smooth is joining us there. I should have you on live. I should have you as my guest here, Chris, but that'll be at another time when you're ready to do so, obviously, of course, okay? But yeah, so we talked about Michael Jackson. We got Emmanuel. Joining us. Emmanuel is joining us as well. Cool. Got Emmanuel joining us. Hey, Emmanuel, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. So we talked about Michael Jackson. We talked about Aretha Franklin. Okay. We talked about Michael Jackson. And we also transitioned earlier. We transitioned to Senator John McCain. We talked about his death. We talked about how he was a true American hero, guy who was a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War. He was a POW for 5.5 years. Just imagine that, 5.5 years, a captured POW, doing that. Yeah, Chris, man. Bado, we had some technical difficulties, so he couldn't make it today. We're gonna reschedule. We're gonna get him on there. Because I want everybody to hear about the story, the Stephen Bartle story. So we're gonna reschedule on that. So we'll do that. Yep, got Emmanuel still watching. Emmanuel was waving at me. I'll wave at you too, Emmanuel. Okay, I think that's a waving thing there. I'll wave back at you. So cool. So yeah, we talked about Senator John McCain. We talked previously. As Emmanuel says, and Trump ran from it 5 times. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about Emmanuel, how, McCain should be treated as American hero. And then you have number 45, or I like to call him the petty president. He ran from questions about McCain 5 or 6 times. Like Mike Emmanuel said, 5 times. He ran from the topic, of that guy too, which is crazy. And life is too short to be petty. Something like that is just so petty. How can you be like that? If you're the president of the United States, you got to honor these people. You have to honor these people. You might have feuds or disagreements with people while they're living, but, no need to, be petty and be malicious, in your ways and doing things. And I guess that's the reason why Senator McCain and his family didn't invite number 45 to the funeral as well. So, you take it as that, it's about a character. And this guy seemed like he was full of character. So, I guess he didn't want, number 45 at his funeral. So, we talked about those things. And Chris says, yep, 2 of my favorite college guards. You talked about me, Chris and Stephen Bartle? Okay, cool. I'll take that, Smooth. I'll take that. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, but we'll have our guest on at a future broadcast. I'm gonna definitely bring that person on, give him his just due. Bring him on because he has some exciting news to give to the masses, and a great story. He has a great story to share with the Transition Army, which is here on Transition Tuesday. So we'll make that happen again. But that's what we touched upon, those items. We talked about Aretha Franklin. We talked about Michael Jackson's birthday tomorrow. We talked about Senator John McCain, his passing. We talked about, and I wanted to get you guys' feelings and thoughts on it. What's your feelings on number 45 not being invited to the funeral of John McCain? Do you think that was just? Do you think that? Are you okay with that? I want to get your feelings. What do you guys out there, ladies and gentlemen? What do you guys think about that? About that particular gesture? And you got to keep in mind, like I mentioned earlier, was for number 45, not only was he invited, he was not invited to the funeral of John McCain. He also wasn't invited to the funeral of Barbara Bush. So that should tell you something. I think, sometimes you got to look within yourself and say, like, what's going on with me for me not to be, viewed in the public eye as somebody with character to even attend somebody's funeral. That's something somebody, I guess you have to look within on that. So number 45, you got to look within on that particular situation. So yeah, we talked about those things, and so let's do this, guys. This will be a shortened Transition Tuesday today because based on the technical difficulties. But hey, reason why I'm coming back on there is because sometimes some transitions are beyond your control. And a lot of times, guys, it's how you handle a transition, that you might be going through, And my thing, I'll share this with you guys, whatever transition you're going through, you know what I mean? It might not go your way, maybe sometimes, some transition way beyond your control. But the one thing you can control in any transition that you may be going through, any life transition you may be going through, is have a positive outlook on it. Like me. See what happened just now, with the positive. I'm trying to make it a positive spin on it. We had the technical difficulties, wasn't able to bring my guest on this week, but hey, I'm positive. I'm coming back to the masses. I'm letting you know it was an error on our end, and we're gonna stay positive. We're gonna get that person back on, and we're gonna remain positive in the transitions that you have. So again, my advice to you guys is any transition that you have, some of them are beyond your control, but the ones that are in your control, have a positive outlook and you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. And that leads us to our transition quote of the week. And if you're just joining us, if you're new to the show, we have a transition quote I read every week, different transition quotes. And hopefully this quote, you can apply it to your life. So this one goes a little bit something like this. It says, when you make a transition in life, everyone has to transition around you. Ain't that the truth? And that was said by Chaz Bono for this transition quote. Again, I'll read it again, because this is so profound here. When you make a transition in life, everyone has to transition around you. So not only you making a transition, but you having, the transition, people are making a transition around you as well. There too, people have to make the transition. They have to transition around you. So that was said by Chaz Bono, okay, who has made a transition. So, that goes that way. So, guys, again, like I always say, usually, if I was able, in these little minutes that we had, this part 2 of Transition Tuesday today, if I was able to make you laugh or to make you smile or to just make you think, just those 3 things, if those 3 things occurred to you today while watching Transition Tuesdays, I think we really accomplished our job and we got something done today. So, I hope that was the case for you guys on that. And, speaking of transition, I wanted to, go over, what I do in my book Transition Game Plan. A little bit about it, guys. I have, the book is going well. I have only 25 copies in my possession until my full shipment comes into me, but I have 25 books in my possession. Transition Game Plan, Simple Steps to Achieving Personal Success. And with my book, I'll give you my experiences on life transitions and how you can go about, making a smooth transition, because that's what it's all about, making a smooth transition. We all go through it. My book can help assist you in your transition. So I only got 25 left, 25 signed copies left to my next shipment. So guys, again, either inbox me or you can email me at russ@transitiongameplan.com. I can give you the information and walk you step by step, give you the step-by-step process, how you can go about getting the last 25 copies, signed copies that I have of the book to you. I can get that information to you. I can walk it to you, and I can show you how you can purchase the book. So, Transition Game Plan. We're going to do that. Okay? We'll definitely do that. So again, guys, Again, I appreciate everybody for retuning back in. Again, I apologize for not bringing up our guest this week, but I'm going to make it up to you. We're going to have more guests coming, coming through Transition Tuesdays, and we're going to have the guest I was going to have today. We're going to have that person back on a future broadcast, and, we're going to make that happen there, too. So, guys, as I always say in parting, happy transitioning, and I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.